For 40 years, there was one name that meant power. If you bought a computer, you looked for the blue sticker. Intel Inside wasn't just a marketing slogan, it was a promise. It was the heart of the digital revolution. But as we stand here in 2026, that heart has stopped beating. The giant that once defined Silicon Valley is now a hollow shell of its former self. From the undisputed king of the world to a company fighting for a government bailout just to keep the lights on. This is the story of how arrogance, bad math, and a refusal to see the future destroyed a trillion-dollar legacy. This is the autopsy of Intel. You see, Intel's downfall wasn't a sudden accident. It was a slow-motion train wreck that everyone saw coming, except for the people in the boardroom. They were so focused on their 90% profit margins that they forgot how to innovate. Today, I'm going to reveal the secret history of the Intel decline, the moment they turned down the deal that could have saved them, and why the blue giant is officially obsolete in the age of artificial intelligence. This isn't just a tech story. It's a warning to every business leader who thinks they are too big to fail. To understand the collapse of 2026, we have to look back at the pivot that never happened. In the late 2000s, Intel had the chance to build the chips for the first iPhone. They said no. They thought mobile phones were a niche market with low margins. That single decision was the first crack in the wall. While the rest of the world moved to mobile and later to specialized AI hardware, Intel stayed obsessed with the desktop computer, a box that was slowly becoming a relic of the past. They were a company built for a world that was disappearing, and they refused to learn a new language. But the real disaster happened in the labs. For decades, Intel's tick-tock manufacturing cycle was the envy of the world. But then, they hit a wall. While competitors like TSMC and Samsung were successfully shrinking transistors to 5, 3, and even 2 nanometers, Intel got stuck. Year after year, delay after delay. They became a manufacturing company that couldn't actually manufacture the future. By the time they realized the depth of the hole they had dug, the competition was already miles ahead. In 2026, being Intel Inside no longer means power. It means being a generation behind. Then came the AI wave. This was the final nail in the coffin. Intel spent billions trying to catch up to NVIDIA, but they were trying to win yesterday's war. They built general-purpose chips in a world that demanded specialized neural engines. In 2026, the data centers of the world are being filled with GPUs and custom silicon from Apple, Google, and Amazon. Nobody is waiting for Intel anymore. The blue logo has become a symbol of the legacy era, a reminder of a time when America ruled the silicon world through raw manufacturing power, a power that has now shifted to the east. Let's talk about the culture of complacency. Inside Intel, the engineers were replaced by accountants. The focus shifted from how do we build the impossible to how do we protect our dividends. This is the silent killer of every great empire. When you prioritize the stock price over the product, you are already dead. You just don't know it yet. In 2026, we are seeing a massive brain drain at Intel's headquarters. Their best scientists are fleeing to startups and rivals, taking 40 years of institutional knowledge with them. You can't rebuild a company when the foundation is walking out the door. And now, the geopolitics have turned toxic. Intel was supposed to be the great American hope for chip manufacturing. Billions of dollars in government subsidies were poured into their new factories. But money can't buy a lead that was lost through a decade of bad decisions. In 2026, these state-of-the-art facilities are sitting half-empty because Intel doesn't have the designs to fill them. It's a national security nightmare and a financial disaster. The dream of Made in America silicon is currently being buried under the weight of Intel's mounting debt. So what is the endgame? In the business world of 2026, we are seeing the first whispers of a total breakup. There are rumors that Intel will be forced to split its design team from its manufacturing plants, a move that would effectively end the company as we know it. They are becoming a cautionary tale in every business school on the planet. A lesson that says, no matter how much data you have, and no matter how many patents you own, the market will replace you the second you stop moving. The Intel era didn't end with a bang. It ended with a whimper in a cold, empty server room. Look at the stock chart, and you'll see the story of a lost decade. While the S&P 500 reached new heights driven by the AI boom, Intel stayed flat or declined. Billions in value evaporated. For the investors who stayed loyal, it has been a brutal realization. In 2026, value investing in legacy tech has turned into value traps. Intel is the ultimate trap, a company that looks cheap on paper but is fundamentally broken in reality. They are a ghost ship drifting in the most competitive ocean in history. The lesson for you is this: in 2026, good enough is the enemy of survival. Intel was good enough for a long time, and that's exactly why they failed. They became comfortable in their throne while a new generation of kings was being born in the shadows. The world doesn't wait for giants to wake up. It simply moves around them. Intel is no longer the center of the universe. They are just another obstacle in the way of progress. Will someone buy them? Will the government save them again? Or will they just fade into the background like IBM or Kodak? One thing is certain: the Intel Inside dream is over. The future is being built on silicon that doesn't carry the blue logo. What do you think? Can Intel ever make a comeback? Or is it time to let the old king rest? Let me know in the comments. We're here to track the fall of empires so you can find the rise of the next one. Subscribe and stay ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.